Today we're going to read a story about a little girl and her life that is full of hampering. We know that if there is a source of light and if there is an obstacle, it is totally creating a shade. So if our life is beautiful and there is a brightness, but if there is obstacle that is lagging behind our life, that is a shade in our life. And shade is the opposite of life, where brightness that we attract it for and the shade that hampers our life. Haze, that means the shade. Haze, that means that not the clear vision. Haze, that means that you are shining, but there is obstacle for that you are lagging behind. Purple haze, why that is used, that will be revealed in our story. So let's see our protagonist, the little girl Vashanti, and her life, how it is full of shade, where it should be signed, but not. Why not? That will be cleared. Our story starts in a classroom where the fat headmistress entered the classroom. As usual, means as a regular, her glasses were paused on her nose, just like the the frowns are in the forehead and the spectacles on her nose only, and looking like just billowing her head. So perched on her nose, and she held a cane in her hand. The 30 children in the class 4 had the usual feeling, means just a regular feeling that happens regularly. Their hearts stopped beating. Maybe our that headmistress is too much anxious and short-tempered, means she is too much serious about everything. They stood up to greet the headmistress. She marched straight up to the class teacher, tiny Mrs. Scarpy. So here, Mrs. Scarpy is the class teacher. Headmaster stood beside her, who looked even smaller beside her. So in physique and in mood also, the class teacher stood meekly or gently beside the headmistress. And she also smaller than the headmistress. So vice versa to say, our headmistress is taller than the class teacher. Inspection after 8 days, the headmistress announced. Is everything ready? So in her strong voice, she told to the class teacher. Yes, Mrs. Carpy replied meekly. Meekly means that's gently or politely or with the awfulness. That means with the fearfulness in her voice. So as she is smaller than the headmistress, and then she is also timid in front of the headmistress. Make sure that all the girls bring their needlework. She boomed, looking pointedly at me, and then she marched out of the classroom. Is that means means our headmistress is telling to all of the students but pointing towards me. Me means the little girl here who is writing the story. The class returned to its noisy self, means after going our principal or our headmistress, we go for our noisy itself, means we come to our own self and we create noise again. But when headmistress or principal comes, then we keep quiet because we have that fear with our principal and the headmistress. So next, so as it comes to that noise itself again, before this interruption, I had been thinking about the doll I had seen long ago in Belgaum. Mrs. Swede had brought it over to the school to show it to us. The doll was so beautiful, I just couldn't forget it, especially the doll's dress. See that our little child, that girl, is thinking about the doll that Mrs. Swede took in their classroom to show them. But she is not thinking about the doll or she is not thinking about to play with the doll. But she is thinking about the dress. What the dress the doll was wearing. It was made of extremely fine material. I wanted to tell my friend Prema about it. But the thought of needlework pushed everything else out of my mind. So here, the little girl is in pressure. She wanted to think about and tell about that little girl's dress to her friend Prema. But this pressure, everything took from her mind. Vashanti, stand up. That was Mrs. Carpe. Don't forget to bring your needlework tomorrow, understand? Yes, I said. Though I did not quite know why I said it. I knew I would not be able to get any cloth for the needlework. So there is a classwork or the activity work. So they have to come with the needlework. Needlework that work with the needle. Just like the stitches or making some cloths or design on the cloth. Our Vashanti answered that, yes, I will. But she knew that she couldn't bring. Why? I also don't know. Let's continue. Evening came and I was back home. I had not yet returned from her school. I lit. I lit the fire in the kitchen and went to Davulkar Kaki's house to fetch the milk vessel. She had already boiled the milk. So here, when the evening came, she came back to her home. I, that's her mother, had not yet returned from her school. So mother also works in school, but in which post we don't know here. I lit the fire in the kitchen and went to Davulkar Kaki's house. Maybe it's neighbor. To fetch the milk vessel. She had already boiled the milk. Why? They couldn't boil the milk. Why they have to give the milk to boil for someone to someone else's house? Why did you? I asked. I'd have done it myself. So Vashanti is protesting here that she could do it in herself. Why the Vulgar Kaki has done it? Kaki smiled. Silly child, she said. You had tea? I have made some. So here we are seeing the kind behavior of the Vulgar Kaki. And she is offering Vashanti a cup of tea. Nine Kaki, I replied hastily, and ran back with the milk to make tea, of course. The chulha. Chulha, that means the fire burning instrument. The chulha burned brightly, furiously as a matter of fact. I reduced its fury and then put the water to boil. Shoshi was maintaining that oven from where the fire emerged. So the chulha burned brightly, furiously as a matter of fact. So I reduced that chulha, the fire, and put the water to boil. Means Vashanti did it. I should be coming any moment. Means her mother. She should have tea. She was teaching in an English high school. So she is a teacher. Her mother is a teacher also. She gave tuitions too. In the morning from 7:30 to 9:30. She had to keep the three of us going. Vashanti is telling that three of us. That means she has the siblings, brother and sisters. So, her mother is working in a school where Vashanti also goes to school, and after coming back, she has to take care her siblings, brother and sisters, and she take care also about the food and to prepare something for her mother. When her mother will come, she has to give her mother some food. We all knew about Baba. Baba means here Indian flavor is used. We all know Baba means our father. So why it is written like in English language? We know that it's not the English language. To give that Indian flavor, if we just write down the father, it only gives the English flavor. But it's the only Indian flavor to give. Our author wants to put that Indian flavor in it in our story. So she used some Indian words and she hasn't um, converted to English or translated to English. From the newspaper mainly. We all knew about Baba from the newspaper. Why? Who is he? Is he walking outside? Is he a very famous person? And maybe he cannot live with his family. That's why they are coming to know about her Baba in the newspaper. He was in jail ever since Subhash Chandra Bose disappeared from the surface of the earth. Oh, that's a fact. There is a famous name came, Subhash Chandra Bose. We know that the patriot Subhash Chandra Bose, our Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Maybe his father was a freedom fighter in the team of Subhash Chandra Bose. He worked a lot of it for our country. And in the jail means in the British period, he was disappeared. And from then, there is no news of his father. Even before he went to jail, Baba was never at home. But whenever he came, it was festival for us. Obviously, the freedom fighter went the 365 days out of their family and out of their country, out of their state, their own place, because they had to fight against the British Raj, against the British army. So they had to be disappeared on that time. So they didn't have any time to give to their family. Even they didn't know how much their child and the children are growing and how they are maintaining themselves. They didn't know. And when his father came, anytime there was a festival. Once he came with his long, dirty woolen coat. His method of dry killing was simple, without fuss. It's only about the dry cleaning, because it's a very long coat and it was not able to wash. And then he simply beat the coat against the wall to rid it of all the dust it had collected. After dry killing got over, he told I to get him something to eat. He went out and came back after 15 minutes. Must have eaten somewhere else. Maybe and outside he had taken his lunch or dinner. I have learned one lesson rather well. When someone comes home tired after a day's work, don't pester him or her with any demand. So, in her age, Vashanti knows that how to treat with with her parents, and when they will come in the house, in the home, then they should be treated like as they are coming by working all the day, and they should be presented with the food in front of them, and they should not be should not be charged with any demand. Means she knew that she should not demand anything from her mother, but she should serve to her mother. But it was all right to practice making the demand. For 1 yard of cloth, the demand would be addressed to I. Of course, I was minding the chulha all the while. Yes, Vashanti also knew that when the demand cannot be done in front of mother, when mother is coming back after so long time, after tiring for all the days long work and the busy work, she must be tired, so no demand for her mother. But some demands should be there, like a piece of cloth for her needlework. She wanted to demand from her mother. Obviously, she is not forgetting her work, the chulha work, the preparing food for his brother, for her brother and sister, and for her mother. Pramila and Srikant were there. We have got their names, her brother and sister. I gave them each a cup of tea and sent them out to play. I was about to drink my tea when I heard I's footsteps. Tea is ready, I called out even before she entered, very pleased with my strategy. Shabash, Shabash, I said. So I greeted her well that she prepared a tea for her after coming from so tiring life, the busy hours. She's getting the tea from her daughter. What's the good fate? What's the good fate she's looking here? So Vashanti is doing her school and also taking care about her family. What her father couldn't do, what the mother couldn't do, she is doing. She is taking care about her siblings, her brothers and sisters, and also taking care about her mothers. What the work mother should do, she is doing at that time. So a great responsibility on Vashanti. But we'll reveal some other secrets of Vashanti's life, why the haze is there, because we have not come to our main part of our story. So all about today, we will continue the part with the painful part of Vashanti's life. We have just got in touch in simple, a little bit that she hadn't seen her father. Only the newspaper came with his news, and also she had to do some more work for her home, for her school, and she is in pressure that she has to give the needle work within the time, but she cannot demand. So, yes, mystery comes here, and mystery will be continued. We will continue in our next video. Till then, bye bye.